Yeah, I want to thank Rabbi Engel. I know it's been a tough week, but just as the Sograyim, they happen to be running the charity campaign. In case you didn't hear it from your four closest friends, and you didn't get it texted and tweeted and WhatsApped and joined that they're live and they're doing things now, but they're in the middle of a campaign. I thought it was appropriate.
I think the right word is bombarded.
Bombarded.
Okay. So first of all, place from Moshiachs, I want to thank Rabbi Kiva. Now look around the table here. When you're a little kid, you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm looking around here, at least 4 or 5 guys I was in school with together here in Toronto, whether it was Tzeh or Yisraeli. And Baruch Hashem, I think David should looks down and sees us here, Lo Shishi, and says, "Oh, look at my children. After a hard week, they're still coming to learn." So, whatever I say now, please feel free to disagree with and interject and slug me up. You know, when you say something and everybody just nods their head, that's not what you want. You want people to say, like, I remember one time I was asked to speak at a chavrusa of mine. I had a girl, and he asked me to speak Shabbos morning. His shver was there, who was a long time member of the Agudah here and a big Talmud Chacham. Instead of a whole shtick of Torah, Leah and Love and the whole thing. And in the middle he says to me, "It's false. You can't say that." I sat down. Okay, I was like, it was good. It was good for me, you know. Not everything I say is good, so he put me in my place. It was good. Okay, so it's like Baomer.
Good guess about who it is there.
There. Okay, I didn't say the name. Okay, so Parsh Bahar says, "You're not allowed to hurt a person's feelings," and this is something that we speak about a lot at school. A lot of today, a lot of kids are very sensitive, anxious, and they're bullying and things like that. So we talk about always looking at the cup that's half full rather than half empty, looking at a person's positive attributes rather than his negative ones. So there's Gemara in Shabbos that brings down famous thing why Rabbi Yehuda was called the Reish Madabra. Because Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai were sitting together and they were talking about the Romans. And Rabbi Yehuda said, what's the lashon here? He said, Rabbi Yehuda said, "Kamanoi masein shel umazu tiknu shvakim." Look what they did. They made us marketplaces. Tiknu gashor. They made us bridges. Tiknu mechatzais. They made us bathhouses. Rabbi Yossi shasak. Rabbi Yossi was quiet. Nene Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai va'omar komasha tiknu like tiknu el tzarech atzma. Tiknu shvakim. They made marketplaces. Okay, whatever. Lahish ben Zaina. The whole thing, right? So what happened was there was somebody there named Yehuda ben Gerim who heard what they said, and he told someone who told someone, and got back to the Romans. So the Roman says Yehuda, who spoke good about us, he's going to be the Reish Madabra. Whenever these Jews speak, Rabbi Yehuda's going to speak first. Rabbi Yossi, who was quiet, didn't speak up in our defense, he has to be banished to a city, he can never leave there again. And Rabbi Shimon Yochai, we're going to put to death. So Rabbi Shimon heard about this, and he went and he hid in the shul learning Torah. His wife was bringing him food. Then it got too dangerous for that, so everybody knows this famous cave that he went to with his son, Rabbi Elazar. And the whole week they sat in the cave. They learned. They took off their clothing that shouldn't ruin, and they buried themselves up to their necks in sand. And Hashem made a Mayan, a wellspring come from nowhere in the cave, and also a boxer tree, and they sustained themselves like that. They were there for 12 years, the Gemara says. Finally, Eliyahu came to the Pesach of the cave, and he said, someone's got to tell Rav Shimon that the emperor died and the Gzeira is over. So they left the cave, but they were so steeped in Kedusha, doing nothing else but learning for 12 years. So they saw some farmers working in the field and they were shocked. How could they be Isaac and Chai Shah and leave Chai Island? So whatever they looked at, they burned. So Abasko came from Shemaim and said, you came out of the cave to destroy my world, go back in the cave. They went back in the cave for a year, and then they said, the mishpat of Gehenna, of people go to Gehenna was a year. We have our Gehenna, let us out. They left the cave. This time, wherever Reb Shimon looked, wherever Reb Elazar looked, he burnt, but Reb Shimon looked at it and fixed it. And then they met a man, Erev Shabbos, carrying two bundles of Dasten, and they said, why two? And the man said, one for Zohar, one for Shomer, and they said, wow, look at Hashem, look at your Yidden, look how they're Mechaber Shabbos. That's the Gemara. So, well, what happened over here? Well, why does Reb Shimon have to go through all these tzaras, be in the cave, go back to the cave? What's the whole story with seeing the fields? So again, Luli the Mustafina, we're talking about the great Reb Shimon Yochai, whose yahrzeit was today. The Torah is talking of Azad Godel B'Yisrael, but it could be that when they were sitting and discussing the Romans, you think Rabbi Yehuda didn't see the falsehood of the Romans? Of course he did. Rabbi Yehuda chose to look at the positive attributes. No, look what they're doing for us. They made us mechatzos and shvakin. And Rabbi Shimon said, no, Rabbi Shimon chose to look at the negativity. So it could be that the Eibishter wanted him to be in the cave for 12 years so that he could bring out the Avos Yisrael in him and see it in a positive light. They leave the cave and they're still at it. They're still with the negativity. So Hashem says, no, go back. You got to be there for another year. And like they put it, Mishpat of Gehenna. They come out the second time. Shimon learns a lesson and he repairs what his son Rabbi Elazar was doing. Finally, they see the man. They both realize, now this man was a simpleton, Pav. He's carrying a Dasten, but look how much the Yidden love keeping mitzvahs. And it could be that that's a lesson for us. That when we see a person, instead of looking at this guy's on more, this guy doesn't know anything. Look at his positive attributes. Look where he davens every day. He's here for davening on time. He stays till the end. And look how he's mechaber Shabbos. And look how he's noig at a seudah. So if we look at the positive attributes of people, maybe that's what we can learn from this Meiser. I wanted to continue. We're between Pesach and Shavuos. We're coming close to Shavuos, and it happens to be those who are learning the Daf. We had some Gemaras with Dovid Hamelech, with Shol. Now the Gemara coming up on Ein Vav. So there's a famous Gemara in Pesachim Daf Kuf Yutes. The Gemara says on the pasuk Vayigda Hayel Vayigamal. So it says Vayas Avram Mishtagol B'Yom Yigamal Sitzchak Akiv knows about Pegas Parmesan. Right? Okay. So the Gemara says, "Asur HaKadosh Baruch Hu lases mishta to be goimul chesed to the Yid." So Asur Lovat is going to be a seudah. We all know this Gemara. At the end of the seudah, Hashem is going to say, "Avram Avinu bench." What's Avram going to say? I can't bench. Why?
Small.
I had you small. Yitzchak, you bench. I can't bench. I
didn't wash.
Okay. Or I can't
I
bench.
can't do that.
I need some.
Yeah.
Yaakov bench. I can't bench. I married two sisters. There's going to be us later on. I can't bench. Okay, Moshe, you bench. I can't bench. I didn't go into Eretz Yisrael. Leib Chaim, Leib Musasi. Okay, Yeshua, you bench. I can't bench. I didn't have any sons. I only had daughters. Dovid Hamelech, you bench. Lean no levarach. Kais Yeshua's Esa L'Shem Hashem Ekla. First of all, on that part, Kais Yeshua's Esa, you know that the famous kasha from Chedush Rim, on Parsh Vayeru, he says that the three malachim came to visit Avram. So we know why Michal came to give the Besur time. She's going to have a son. We know why Michal came to heal Avram Avinu from the Bris Milah and to save lives. Why did Gabriel the Sar HaEsh, why did he have to come to visit Avram? He wasn't needed. He's going to destroy his time. Let him go straight this time. What does he got to go to Avram? So the Baomer say, when you're going to destroy a country like whatever, a city like Stein, that's Iches, at first you have to see what Chesed looks like before you destroy the city that has Iches. That's like the Baomer. But the Chedush Rim says Chassidish in the hair. He says there's a halacha. I don't know where he gets this from, but he says you cannot be kaveya halacha until it's nikba down here. So when Shemayim wants to make a mitzvah, there's got to be like we have to shtalavek the mitzvah by an action down here. Okay. So what was the suffix here? Gabriel's going to destroy stuff. He doesn't know should he save light. Why? Why is he saving light? Because Rus is going to come out from Lloyd, who's going to be the Ima Shamalchus, right? But we don't know if we can save Rus. Why? Because Rus is a Moyavia. And it says, we don't know if that includes the ladies, right? And we'll talk about that soon. So they didn't know what to do. But when they said to Avram, Aye Sorah Ishtecha, what did Avram answer? He named oil. It's a vekishtel kfura basmoch prima. Memela, it's not a time on the ladies that they didn't go out to give water because they're supposed to go out. Memela now, Gabriel could go destroy Stein. So listen to this one. So David said, Kais Yeshuas Esa, Esa's Rosh Teves Aye Sorah Ishtecha. It's because of that I was able to be born and be the Melech Yisrael.
This is a Chedush Rim?
No, this is not my stuff. I heard this from somebody else. When I heard this, I went out of my mind. This Esa thing, unbelievable. Okay, so the kasha is going back to the Gemara Psachim. Why should Dovid Hamelech be the one to bench? You know, look at the lineup. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Yeshua, and David says, "Lina Levar." So there's a Haggadah of Pesach that was made by a Yid whose name was Rabbi Avram Aaron. Forget his last name. He lived in the city of Chop in Hungary. He was nifter in the war. Easily of a man. I got to Haggadah 22 years ago when my wife gave birth to quads, and I realized it was January. But I said, before Pesach, I should buy her something. I went to a Yid in Montreal, and he sold me some jewelry. He said, "I want to recommend this Haggadah to you. It's called Beis Avram Beis Aaron." I never seen a Haggadah like this. I'm still going through it 22 years. I didn't go through everything. Anyway, he says like this. He says, there's 5 reasons why Dovid Hamelech should not be allowed to bench. Number 1, he came from Musa Mayavia. Mayavia, right? It's psul. Second of all, we all know the Medrash, but we don't know the Medrash that at the end of Yishai's life, I think I might have said here once, at the end of Yishai's life, he said, maybe my grandfather Boaz was wrong. Maybe I wasn't allowed to marry. He wasn't allowed to marry Rus. So maybe I'm possible. Did I say this over? I think I said it all, no?
We had a discussion about
Yeah,
it.
I think so. So anyway, what did he do? Yishai? He went to a shivcha and he said, see, he was separated from his wife. He went to a shivcha and he said, I'm going to free you, I'll try. I'm going to free you, I'll try. If in fact I'm possible love b'kol because I'm a Moavi, so I'm going to keep you a shivcha. We'll have a child. The Vlad's Hailech Achra program goes after the lesser one, so the kid will be an Eved, and he'll be able to be Megayer, and he'll be a kosher Yid. If in fact I'm kosher, my grandfather was right, he was allowed to marry us, so I'm Meshach for you. You're a Yid, no, we're going to get married, you'll have a baby, and that baby will be a kosher Yid. So I want to have a kosher baby. And Shivcha didn't want to do it, so Shivcha told his wife, you take my place, the whole thing, right? And his wife was expecting David, the whole thing happened, right? And anyway, so it's a psul that David was born because Yishai had a machshava for the Shivcha, while in fact he was with his wife. That's a shtuk of psul. I'm not going to go into now, but that's psul. The third psul is the mice of Basheva, the aftyer with Basheva, which is not for now. The fourth psul is that the mice of the Hassasa, when David was convinced to count Klai Yisrael, and there was a terrible magay for 70,000 people died. That's why we make 100 brachas. And the fifth one is because of the killing of Uriah Achiti. So
It's part of Basheva.
What's that?
It's part of Basheva.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. By the way, his name is Friedman, Avram Aaron Friedman. So Rabbi Friedman says,
Who was after David? In other words, this David, who else is sitting on the dais?
That's it.
So David was the last one anyway, right?
Nobody left. Okay, I'll bench. Yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't invited. I don't know why. So he says like this. He says, when Avram Avinu said, I can't bench because I had Yishmael, David said, oh, now I know that I'm okay that I came from Rus. When Yitzchak said, I can't bench because I had Esau, David said, oh, now I know I'm okay, even though Isha had a different machshava.
This is his answer.
This is his answer.
Oh, wow.
1 second, but you gotta explain it.
Yeah.
When Yaakov said I can't bench because I married 2 sisters, now I know that the aftyer of Basheva is not an aftyer. When Moshe said I can't bench because I didn't go into the soul, he knew that his aftyer with the Ma'aseh Da'asasa was not an aftyer. And when Yeshua said I can't bench because I didn't have sons, he said, oh, now I know that killing a Yechidi was not an aftyer. I'm going to explain one of them because it's complicated. So when Avram said, I can't bench because I had you small, Dovid Hamelech knew that I'm okay that I came from us. Why? So the Gemara says in Yevamah stuff, I involve him, we're coming to it. The Gemara says, B'cherei Shaul is David. Shaul sees David going out to fight against Goliath. So he says to Avner, Mize Elam, who's this guy David? The Gemara asks, well, what do you mean, who's David? David was his armor bearer. David sang for him. He knows who David is. The Gemara says, no, he was asking Avner, which family in Klal Yisrael he comes from. Is he comes from Zerach, Yehuda's son? So Zerach is from the word Ezrach, the Radak says. So he's choshev, but he's not a threat to my malchus. But if he comes from Peretz, then he's going to be a king. Because Hamelech, Peretz, lastly, Derech, Ve'im Machem B'yodai, I'm afraid of him. In fact, David came from Peretz. So Doeg Daimi says to Avner, why are you asking where he comes from, which family? Ask that he came from us, he's possibly over the call. So Avner says, wait a minute. Tanina, we learned in the Mishnah, Mayavi, V'lei Mayavia. He says to Elameyata, Mamzer, V'lei Mamzeres. He said, no, Mamzer is a Naitarika from Mumzor, so it doesn't matter, male or female. Did Elameyata Mitzri, V'lei Mitzris? There's a pshat like that, by the way. Shlomo married last parak, she was a mitzvah, the mitzvah is not included. There is a pshat like that. But he said, no, I'll tell you why Avner said. The pasuk says why a Moavi man cannot marry Klal Yisrael. Al-Devar, like Kimos Chamalach Vamayim, and it's a derech for a man to go on, not a derech for a lady. So Doeg asked him, the men should have met the men, and the ladies should have met the ladies. Bam Kasha. So the Gemara Ishtik, he was quiet. So Shaul said, okay, go to the base medrash and ask. They go to the base medrash. Doeg asked all his kashas. They don't have an answer. They want to make a cruise, an announcement that Moavi and Moavi is also level of call. Retroactively, David, Yishai, and Oved would all be possible level of call. Miyad the Gemara says Yisra got up, Jews saw like Yishmaeli, and he said, Kach mekablani bedrash Shmuel Ramasi, Moavi v'lei Moavia. Whoever doesn't believe me, Yidaka b'cheravzu. There's a beautiful Brisker Rav on this, by the way, which I'm not going to say now, but it's good to see Kedushia Grizz al Shas. It has a Chumash Megillah on Rus. He has a beautiful kasha and teretz here. But the Maisa, the Gemara says, B'kol Mokim, how do you answer Doeg's kasha? The men should have met the men, the ladies should have met the ladies. And for the Gemara, Kufur Bas Machnim. So ladies could not go out at all. So he asked Rabbi Friedman, he says, where does it say Kufur Bas Machnim? It says in Tillam, hey, who wrote Tillam? So David must be made on himself. You can't do that, can you? He says, I'll bring you a ride from the Torah. Because the Gemara asks, it says, Kiikach ish isha. Why doesn't it say Kisilokach isha ish? And for the Gemara, it's a derech for a man to go after a lady, not derech for a lady to go after a man. And we know that Chava came from Adam's rib, so Moshiachs David, when a person looking for the Aveda, the Baal Aveda looks for Aveda, the Aveda looks for the Baal Aveda, right? Now that's all good, he says, if you say that Adam and Chava were created, Chava was created from Adam's rib. But there's another man that they were created like this, do partsufin, back to back, and then Hashem separated them. According to that, why doesn't it say Kisilokach Isha Ish? She also could be a Baal Bus. Well, why does it say Kigach? And for the Gemara, because Kol Kuru Bas Machnim. We have arrived from the Torah, the fact that it doesn't say Kisilokach Isha Ish, Kol Kuru Bas Machnim, so David is vindicated. Okay? Okay. Now there's a Gemara in Yevamah Mamav. The Gemara says talking about how you're Mekayim the mitzvah of Puruvu. Machlokas B'Shamai says 2 sons, 2 boys, and we learn it from where? From Moshe, because Moshe had Gershom and Eliezer, and then he was perished from Tzipora because he had to be with Hashem. And Besul says Yolof Mibiyosa Shalaylam. Adam and Chava were created, and that was it, right? So you have to arrive from there. Now, when Adam and Chava were created, so the Gemara says, the Gemara says, it says Zachar Nekeva Bora Oisam, and then it says Bora Oisai. Okay, was it Oisai or Oisam? So the Gemara answers, B'tchila all of Machshava to make 2, and at the end he made 1. Now, according to Beis Hillel, who holds that the mitzvah of Puruvu is a boy and a girl, you have to say that he holds like the Baomer that they were created back to back. Because if they were created from the cellar, then what's the riot? Then you have to say, you can't say there was all of machshava to make two and then he made one, because how could you prove from there that proof was two, a boy and a girl? It must be that they were made like this. It was a dubar tzufim back to back. Now, there's a pasuk in Parshas Chayesara, Hashem berachas Avram bakol. What was the bracha that Hashem gave Avram? So it's machlekes. Either he had a girl named Bakol, and what was the bracha? Because he's finally the kind of mitzvah approval, or that Yishmael did tshuva. Okay. So now, when Dovid Hamelech heard Avram say that I can't bench because I had Yishmael, must be how's he learning Pshat Hashem berachas Avram bakol? Can't be that Yishmael did tshuva, because then he would be able to bench. Must be what's the bracha that he had bakol? If he had bakol, he was a kind of mitzvah. What does he hold like? Beis Hillel. What does Beis Hillel hold? Du partzufin. If it's du partzufin, you have to ask me a kasha. So then why does it say kislaka chishul ish? They're both the same. Teretz is kokpura bas melch prima. So when David heard Avram say, "I can't bench because I had Yishmael," he knew that he's okay that he came from Rus. Why? Because even though Rus is a Moavia, kokpura bas melch prima, and she's allowed to be, she's mutter level of call. I'm gonna finish on time.
Wow.
I can go through all of them, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna, maybe another time. Okay.
A little Harlem Globetrotters thing, but it's yeah, I gotta unwind it on the way back here.
All right.
What's the grizz? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna list it again. What's the
The
grizz?
Grizz answers the kasha. Plenty of money says, I can't marry Rus. Why? Legally, Karashkas is nachlasis.
Yeah.
Rush is Zari. Like the Grizz, what do you mean? Right? Well, because he says, why? Because Tov ba'amayni v'le'amaynis. What's he saying? I'm going to mess up my kids. You yourself can't marry her. It's like I tell you, go to McDonald's and have a McMuffin.
Right.
I can't do it because I mess up my kids. You know what? You know, eat treif. What's the shot?
It's a future basin, no?
Oh,
That a future basin might turn over.
Very
That's
good,
the
very
YY of Dasten and
very
Avira.
good, very good. Very good.
That's pshat.
That's right. So he says, he brings down this whole Gemara in Yevamos, and he says, you see, it almost happened that they almost overturned the case, right?
So
what happened? Yisro draws a sword.
right.
So why didn't they just say, put away the sword, answer my question, right? The Teretz is, Yisro was mechadish, that he heard from Shmuel Moshe, it's halacha Moshe Sinai. You only can overturn a halacha if it's made from one of the Yud Gimel Midas. You have bezin that's gold men and then you can overturn it.
Right.
But if it's made, it's halacha Moshe Sinai, you can't. There's no sword, you can't overturn it. So that was a mistake of playing the money. He thought that it was from Svara. He said, now Boaz is right. What's going to happen when a bezin later on wants to change it? My children are going to be messed up with Mafreya. His mistake was that Amoni v'La'amonis was halacha Moshe Sinai and not from the Yud Gimel Midas. That's a brisker open.
So, excuse me, so then what was Boaz matter? At the time, Boaz was matter
Why is it matter?
because he wanted to marry her.
No, not because he wanted to marry her, because he held it. It happened to be he made the halacha. He called 10 men to make the halacha of my
But it was halacha Moshe Sinai.
He didn't know that yet.
This is before Shmuel. What's that? Was Boaz before Shmuel?
So I said, the Chayyab say he didn't know.
So you didn't know. Okay.
Shmuel mostly was Mecharish as halacha Moshe Sinai.
So Boaz then was talking from the Yud Gimel Midas at that time.
Right.
And that's when Almighty is already arguing. And
Being over.
Exactly. It's funny because this guy Yisro, who's this guy Yisro that drew the sword? He calls him Yisro, Yisraeli, and Yishmaeli. So Gemara says, and he said, but there's another pshat that he was taka, he was a guy. And Yisha used to dash in front of 600,000 people. So he came to Yisha and he said, can I have a chelik? And he said, be Megayer. He was Megayer, and then Yishai did something we would never do. He took him as a son-in-law.
oh, really?
He took him as a son-in-law. And he was Amos's father, by the way. Amos, David's general, Shaul's general, was
Amasa Ben, what does it say?
Ben Yisra.
Ben
Ben
Yisra.
Yisra, Shema Yisra, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Wow. You know, it wasn't the original Yisrael.
What? No, it couldn't have been the original. Wasn't that at all? He had the same name.
Pinchas and who had the same? What do you say?
No, Yisro. You're saying
Yisra.
Yisro. Yud Tov Reish Aleph. Yeah.
Okay.
Shkoyach, Shkoyach.